Welcome back to the Citizen Data Academy. This video is the 6th in our Introduction to Open Data module. While the previous video covered how to create visualizations in Open Data BR, this tutorial will focus upon things you can do in the EBRGIS portal, namely, creating your own maps. In addition to creating web mapping applications, our GIS team has also created several dashboards in the EBRGIS portal. We'll have videos that highlight the 311 Citizens Request for Service dashboard and the Blighted Property dashboard in our Community Planning module. We'll start at the EBRGIS portal homepage. In the gallery, you can view the many mapping applications already created by our GIS team. For example, traffic resources, planning and land development, and our Citizens COVID-19 dashboard. However, you may have a particular interest in mapping data that has not already been made available in one of our pre-configured applications, and you have the power to do so using our EBRGIS portal. You can go to developers.arcgis.com to create your free account that will be necessary for saving maps and other content you develop when using the EBRGIS portal. You only need to enter your name and a valid email address. Make sure you remain signed in during the process of creating a map. Otherwise, you won't have access to most of the ArcGIS capabilities. Now, over to the EBRGIS homepage. From the Maps menu, we want to select Create a New Map. This launches a blank map in ArcGIS Online. Right now, you can only see a blank base map, so we will need to add data to the map. Click the Add button, which is second in the top left portion of the user interface, and then select Search for Layers. Here, you can add files from your computer with the My Content option or find data stored in an online portal. The My Content option is the default choice, but we'll need to choose ArcGIS Online to access the publicly available data from our EBRGIS portal. There are over 10,000 layers available in the ArcGIS Online portal, so we'll need to zoom the map view towards East Baton Rouge Parish to narrow this list down. Click the Filter button, third from the left in the menu, and activate the filter to only show content within the map area. Now, when we zoom in, the list shows only layers we're interested in, which makes finding the one you want far easier. You'll also want to set the status option to authoritative to further refine the list to accurate and up-to-date layers created and managed by our GIS team. Now we can search for a map layer in the search bar. Here, I'll find the tax parcel layer and add it to the map by clicking the plus sign. You can see the layer has been added to our map in the content panel, but the layer is grayed out and not yet visible. This is to prevent highly detailed layers from overwhelming the server beyond a certain map scale. The layer becomes active and visible once we zoom in. You can open the legend to understand the information displayed in the active layers, in this case, the status of the tax parcels. Next, I want to show the total assessed values of tax parcels in the Terra subdivision. Click the Filter button, fourth from the left below the map layer. Give the filter an expression, telling it to search the subdivision field and only pull records from the Terra subdivision. The left menu selects a field, the middle menu contains a list of operators to apply to the expression, the right menu selects the value the filter searches for. This is a simple filter, but you can see there are many different options for filtering the data, as we showed in the last video. Click the Apply Filter button. Now we can only see the tax parcels within the Terra subdivision, so our filter is working correctly. It's a good idea to check your map each time you apply a filter. You can view the data with the Show Table button, second from the left. As we showed in the last video, you can sort one of the columns in ascending or descending order. You can select particular records you're interested in, and they will be highlighted in the map. You can even zoom into the location of a record from the Options menu at the top right. We want to symbolize this data. Click the Change Style button, third from the left. First, it gives us the choice of which field we want to display and symbolize in the map. It's the status field by default, so we'll select the Total Assessed Value field instead. Next, you can adjust how the categories are defined, and also the color scheme displayed in the map. When displaying numerical data, a general rule of cartography is that lesser values are shown in lighter shades compared to greater values, which are shown in darker shades. You can adjust the number of categories and the method of their classification. Generally, numerical data should be displayed in 3 to 5 categories, and the natural breaks method is the most precise and unbiased way to define the category boundaries. Make sure to click Done to apply your changes to the map symbology. You can also configure the pop-ups to your liking from the More Options menu. Pop-ups display attribute information when you click on a record in the map. You can disable them completely if you want. When you're done adjusting your map, click Save. Give your map a name and give it some tags that you can find it easily in a keyword search. You can also give it a description. Your created map can be accessed at any time from your Content folder. You can share your map with others and make it visible to the public. They don't need their own ArcGIS Online account to view your map. You only need to give them the link. And you can also embed your map into a website. Before we move on, I'll briefly demonstrate another way you can manipulate our existing layers in ArcGIS. This time I'll close the tax parcel layer and open our 311 service requests layer from the portal. It's a group of point layers that show all of the 311 requests made in the last 180 days, and there are quite a lot of them. Let's imagine we only want this map to show garbage-related service requests. We'll turn all the other map layers off, and you can even delete them completely if you're sure that you won't want to use them later. While polygons are generally color-coded and displayed in a choropleth map, like in the tax parcel example, it might be useful for you to display point data such as this garbage request layer in a heat map. Heat maps show the concentration of a certain point layer in an area, revealing hot spots and cold spots of a certain activity, such as crime or 311 requests. The more points you have to work with, the more useful and accurate a heat map becomes. You can adjust the transparency and area of influence in the heat map from the Change Style menu. In a heat map, areas with higher concentration of points are generally depicted with brighter colors, while areas with a lower concentration of points are shown in darker colors. Next, we'll show you how to create a simple feature layer in your map from a CSV text file. I'll use Notepad in this example, but you can also do this in Excel. Type up the fields and values you want, putting the field names in the first row. Make sure there are no spaces between the commas if you're typing this in Notepad. I'll save this to my desktop, reduce my windows, then drag and drop the CSV file over the map. Now a window pops up to add the layer I created to the map. To do this successfully, ArcGIS needs some combination of addresses or place names and geographic coordinates to geocode the points onto the map. The text file I created uses addresses, so we choose that option for the geocoding process. As a member of the public, you won't be able to see my default option, which is the East Baton Rouge Parish point address locator. Instead, you'll want to use ESRI's ArcGIS World Geocoding Service, which is updated quarterly with address data provided by our team. Keep the default region for the locator service as the United States. Review the location fields to ensure they make sense and match ESRI's fields, then click the Add Layer button. Voila! We've successfully geocoded all 5 points from our Notepad file into the map as a feature layer. If any of your points don't geocode correctly from an address, you may need to double check your spelling or place the point manually in edit mode. Right now, the layer I have created is only stored in the memory of ArcGIS Online, so we want to save this layer, which will create a hosted feature layer that is stored in the Content folder of your personal user account. From the More Options button, click Save Layer, give it a name and some tags, then click Create Item. Now the point layer is saved in your content. Lastly, click Publish to convert it into a fully qualified, hosted feature layer with the full complement of capabilities. Click the Settings tab and scroll down to the Editing menu. Then enable editing and click Save. You can now edit the data and add new attribute fields to the layer by switching to the Data tab. Once you've saved your hosted layer, you can delete the feature layer as you won't need it any longer. You can also delete it from your map and add the hosted layer in its place from your Content folder. Notice the Analysis toolbar in the top left of the screen. We'll cover the basics of how to use these tools in the 7th video of this module. When you're happy with your map, click Save. Give your map a name and some tags, then click Save Map to save the map to your account. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, where we introduce how to perform spatial analysis using the EBRGIS portal.